Imagine living a life so ordinary, yet harboring secrets so sinister they could shake the very core of human understanding. It's a chilling thought, isn't it? This paradox is the cornerstone of true crime stories that have intrigued us for generations. It's not just about the thrill of the chase or the shock of the gruesome details. It's the psychological enigma that keeps us hooked. The burning question of why? What could possibly drive an individual, seemingly like any one of us, to commit acts so heinous, so unfathomable? Is it born out of a twisted perception of reality, a deep-seated grudge against society, or some ill-understood compulsion? These are the riddles that true crime narratives grapple with as they delve into the darkest corners of the human mind. In the heart of this conundrum dwells our subject, an average man leading an extraordinary double life. In the quiet suburbia of the 1960s lived a man, a father, a husband, a serial killer. This seemingly ordinary individual was a stark contradiction to the monstrous acts he would later commit. He was the epitome of the American dream, living a life that was, on the surface, as normal as anyone could imagine. Born and raised in a small town, he was the middle child of three, growing up in a loving, nurturing environment. He was a good student, popular among his peers, and even excelled in sports. After high school, he went on to attend a reputable university where he graduated with honors. He married his high school sweetheart, and together they had two beautiful children. He was a devoted father, always there for his kids, coaching their little league teams, helping with homework and making pancakes on Sunday mornings. His wife adored him, and they were the picture-perfect family, the kind that graced the covers of magazines. Professionally, he was successful too. He worked as an accountant, respected and liked by his colleagues. He was known for his punctuality, his meticulousness, and his seemingly endless patience. He was the guy who always remembered birthdays, the one who organized the office holiday parties. To his neighbors, he was a friendly face, always ready with a smile and a wave. He took pride in his manicured lawn and was always willing to lend a helping hand. He was the epitome of a good neighbor, always there when you needed him and never a cause for concern. But this life, this picture of normalcy, was merely a veneer. It was a meticulously constructed facade designed to hide the horrifying truth. For beneath the surface, behind the closed doors of his idyllic suburban home, this man harbored a secret. He was living a double life, one that would shock and horrify those who thought they knew him. Beneath this facade of normalcy lurked a darkness that would soon reveal itself. As the sun set, the mask fell off, and the hunter emerged from the shadows. In the heart of the community, a monster was silently lurking, causing a wave of fear to ripple across the town. A pattern began to emerge as the months turned into a year, then two, then three. In the dead of night, under the veil of darkness, an individual's life would be cruelly snuffed out. The victims were seemingly chosen at random, their lives tragically cut short by a faceless predator who would soon become known as the town's most feared serial killer. The first victim was found in the early hours of a frosty January morning. Then, as the seasons changed, so too did the killer's rhythm. Every 3 months, another life was claimed, a grim metronome marking the passing of time with each senseless murder. The victims ranged from young adults to the elderly, their only common thread being their tragic end. Each crime scene was hauntingly similar, a chilling signature left behind. The victims were found in their homes, a place where they should have felt safe. There were no signs of forced entry, suggesting the killer was someone the victims may have known or trusted. As the body count rose, so did the community's fear. Parents kept their children close, neighbors watched each other with suspicion, and no one felt safe walking alone at night. The once vibrant community was now gripped by a paralyzing terror, a ghost town after dark. The killer seemed to relish in the horror he inflicted, leaving no clue as to his identity. The town was left in a state of constant dread, their lives overshadowed by the looming threat of the next murder. Despite the best efforts of the local law enforcement, the killer remained elusive, always one step ahead. His reign of terror persisted, with the community clueless about the monster in their midst. The town lived in fear of the setting sun, knowing that with each passing night the hunter could emerge from the shadows once more. The game of cat and mouse had begun, with the authorities closing in on our unsuspecting predator. As the body count grew, so did the urgency of the investigation. The police, armed with their relentless determination, began to piece together a disturbing puzzle. Each piece, a fragment of a horrifying picture, was a clue leading them closer to the elusive serial killer. The first breakthrough came in the form of an overlooked piece of evidence. A single strand of hair, seemingly insignificant, but when scrutinized under a microscope it became a beacon, shining a light on the path to the predator. Then a witness came forward. A woman who had seen a man lurking around her neighborhood on the nights of the murders. Her description was vague, but it was a start. The police were now on the trail of the predator, their senses sharpened, their resolve hardened. They started to connect the dots, tracing the killer's steps, following his shadowy trail through the city's underbelly. They were closing in. The climax of the investigation came with a search warrant. A quiet suburban home, the epitome of normalcy, was the lair of our predator. Inside, the walls whispered horrifying secrets. The authorities found trophies from his victims, a chilling testament to his gruesome deeds. The community was in shock as the predator's true identity was unveiled. A man they knew, a man they trusted, was the monster they feared. The man next door, the friendly face in the crowd, was the serial killer they had been hunting. The realization sent shivers down their spines. The predator was not an outsider, he was one of them. The predator's reign of terror ended as he was finally cornered, like a beast in a trap. He was captured, his hands bound, his freedom stripped away. He would no longer stalk the night. He would no longer be the hidden nightmare. The mask had finally fallen off, revealing the monster beneath. With the beast caged, the community breathed a sigh of relief, their nightmare finally over. The once ordinary man, now exposed as a monster, faced a trial as chilling as his crimes. Evidence stacked up like a macabre house of cards, each piece painting a darker picture of the man they thought they knew. The courtroom echoed with gasps as the verdict rang out, guilty on all counts. The sentence? Life imprisonment, a fate some considered too kind for such a villain. The community, though still reeling, slowly began to heal. His actions had ripped through their lives like a tornado, leaving devastation in its wake. But from the wreckage emerged a newfound resilience. They stood together, a united front against the darkness that had once lurked among them. The residents learned a bitter lesson about the hidden evils that can reside in plain sight, forever altering their perception of safety. In the end, justice was served, but the scars remain. A chilling reminder of the ordinary man with an extraordinary secret.